just as I get started, you close your charts. So there's that big move to the upside out of a low, guys, we had in the last hour. So this is right on the line here, but we have a low correlator in the last hour, or possibly in the post market, and for tomorrow as well. And this is a push to the upside that I would utilize. I was planning to utilize it, but I had to move more money, and it's not going to show up until tomorrow. So I'm going to trade tomorrow. I was planning to utilize this move to the upside to open up some puts, buy to open some puts on the SPY. I'm advised to buy protection here. It looks like I'll have I have a better opportunity probably tomorrow morning. It's possible. Like right here around like the 10 o'clock hour. So we go from 3 pokes through the same price level, or 3 pokes through the same resistance level. Sometimes it's like diagonal, like a moving average or something like that, but it's 3 pokes through the same price level, and on that third poke there's a sharp drop. That sharp drop turns into a move to the upside, and we're 3 pokes on a key resistance level, I should say. So if we drop, and then we push right around the open when we push higher. But we have sideways rotation along the support level in the first half hour, with a sharp dip in the midst of that sideways rotation, and then we have a high correlator where we rally into a resistance, and then we break down with consecutively lower spikes down. So like for a day trade, a good opportunity to open up short position here. Good opportunity to close it for a profit here towards the end of the day. There's 2 aces here, so we should see quite a bit of volatility. Actually, there's 3 aces, excuse me. We have an ace at the high. So this will be a notable move to meet resistance here, around 10 to 11-ish, followed by a decline through multiple support levels, or maybe something to do with an agreement between 2 leaders midday, or excuse me, an agreement. There may be something to do with a male leader of nations midday there. And then there's the decline really commences towards the end of the day. Looks like even the following day, if you didn't want to do a day trade, the following day is a good opportunity towards the end of the day as well. You got that Ace of Swords and the Ace of Discs again there. That was Ace of Cups last time. Ace of Swords, Ace of Discs. A lot of aces. Again, guys, this is that Aeon card here towards the end, so this should be a notable move to the upside. Piece is there again. I'm looking at the Peace card and looking for a truce correlation, a price correlation for the Truce card. Alright, so Peace at the beginning of the day. Look at the overview, guys. It looks like there's a low tomorrow. But into the end of the week, there's a definitive low here at the end of the week, is my sense. Prominent trough, you could say. Some stocks will be over the weekend, but I mean on a market-wide thing, kind of like the 12th through the 15th-ish. And then we have a low for the S&P on the 19th. That's that juicy opportunity to open up a long position. Ride that Aeon card all the way to the Princess of Discs, which is a good cash-in opportunity right at a high there. It's a really good, easy trade, looks like. Taking questions if anybody's got questions. You can also check out our someta.com. We have a link to our Kickstarter there, because the Kickstarter link's like super long. So just go to someta.com, click on the Kickstarter link, and sign up to follow our Kickstarter, guys. We've got a financial astrology chart application that we've been building for about a year now, and we're about 85% done. We need to get some final funding to finish this thing off and get it to a version 1 that we can monetize. And our launch date for that is Christmas, roughly Christmas, a little bit before that. So you could go check that out, guys. It's pretty sick. It's customized specifically to the individual using it. So when you sign in, your birth information is used to calculate auspicious and inauspicious moments that it identifies them specific to you and whatever chart you're looking at. So if you're looking at silver, your auspicious moments are going to be different than if you switch the chart and you look at the S&P 500. If you have the S&P 500 and you're looking at it and you switch the user, the auspicious moments will be different as well. So lots of cool stuff there. It also breaks down the bullish and bearish influences that impact the market, astrologically speaking, so that you don't have to be like an expert. It gives you, like, there's plenty of data there for experts. It's very robust, but as far as like ease of use, you could be a novice in astrology and still be able to understand which way the market's influenced based on what planets are doing, at any given moment. And it's all on a chart. Like, it's the first time it's ever been like put right onto a technical analysis chart, and you can extrapolate so many patterns. I mean, that's how I extrapolated patterns for tarot, was putting the tarot cards up, the spread that I did up next to a stock chart, day after day after day after day, and I was able to extrapolate the meanings of the tarot cards specific to trading stocks to a technical chart. Like, I could tell you in our book, if you were to go to our website, tarotfortraders.com, tarotfortraders.com, like the cards, tarotfortraders.com. If you were to go to our website, we have a book that we're selling there, an ebook, and in the book, it even tells you what candlesticks are represented by, what cards represent what candlesticks, because I've been doing this for 20 years, more than 20 years. Yeah, I think, and I've saying in my S&P, or in my August trade plan post that I just put up, I was saying that I think probably a lot of people that trade by the moon are going to get bit in the butt this month, because the one rule of thumb for retrograde, when you're looking at technical charts, the one rule of thumb for retrograde is that, like, all rules are off. Like, normally a price will meet a resistance level and then determine if it breaks through, or if it goes, if it breaks through, it'll come back and then it'll break out, right? Or it'll bump and it'll reverse and go back down. In retrograde, it'll like reverse before hitting the resistance, or it'll break straight through without like coming back for like a little bit of a retest. It'll just go straight, like things like that. So you have to be careful of that stuff during retrograde. That's why one of the reasons why I don't trade during retrograde. Trading before and after retrograde, super juicy, guys. Super juicy. If you don't know already, I don't know how many people followed retrograde in specific to a technical chart of the S&P 500 for years and years and years, like me, like religiously almost, and I was able to see that the pre-shadow phase of retrograde gives you a very good indication of what the post-shadow behavior in the market will be. They're very, very similar, because what you do on one side of retrograde, you revisit on the other side. It's uncanny. Yeah, so here's the turnaround from that move to the upside. So what time? It's like what, 3:39? Yeah. So there's a flight to safety right around the close. A failed attempt to break through key resistance followed by a decline through key support level. So that push to the upside, that was, there may be a little bit more. There's possible that there's a little bit more of a move to the upside, but we're going to see a turnaround and a flight to safety here. And again, I'm looking to be on the short side of the market tomorrow morning. I'm getting in roughly at this, around the strife card. So roughly there'll be a breakout, temporary breakout, I should say, roughly around like 10 to 11. Good day trade to get out of buy puts here, sell puts there. To close out for a day trade, or position oneself for both sides of the market instead of closing out. If you're doing swing trading, position oneself for both sides of the market by picking up some calls here, probably. I wouldn't pick up calls there. I just, if I'm doing a day trade, I'd get out of the puts here around like 3 o'clock tomorrow, and if I'm doing a swing trade, I'd wait until the end of the day the following day. For this ace of discs here, good juicy opportunity. We have that truce card again. That's what I was looking for. So we have the truce card in the low here. We have the truce card as the theme card here. So the truce card is the low there. So we likely have a higher day on the 11th based on that. I'm not so sure about that though, because that ace of that full card is pretty bearish. That's my sense. So I'd likely sell at the end of the day the puts for like an overnight trade if I'm not looking to do a day trade. Again, we've got a low correlator here. It looks like a pretty bearish signal here. A couple pretty bearish signals here at the end of the day. So we may have like out of a low on the 12th, we push higher. Like let's look. Okay, yeah. So it looks like out of a low. Let me make sure I'm looking at the right day here. 12th. It's like a pop at the end of the day there. I mean, I'm just bearish for the most part here, guys. Like, we go from a low here to a month's low. So we go from a prominent trough here on the 12th to a month's low on the 19th, followed by a prominent high, or could be a high, a month's high here on the 25th. It did stand out just like around here in the first week, but definitely a prominent crest here on the 24th, 25th. So a good opportunity to open up long positions on the 19th, and then on the 25th. On the 24th or the 25th, a good opportunity to open up another set of puts, short position or a set of puts, protect against long positions again for a sale on the 31st. Yeah, here goes that hermit card that we were talking about, guys. So out of a push higher, there's the revisiting of the low. And we should have a day's low as we enter the end of the day. Very likely we see a day's low. Taking any questions, guys. There's any stocks that you'd like me to look at. It doesn't have to be, I take any kind of questions, FYI, because there's a lot of people on TikTok that want to ask questions that aren't finance related. That's perfectly fine. It's the same skill. It's the same skill set. Doesn't really matter what it's for. I just have a lot of personal knowledge in finance, so I specialize in that. But I could talk about anything. If there's anything that you want to look at, I'm here to answer any questions, look at any stocks. So far for September, I've got wow, a lot more than I realized. I must have been at it. I was like up till 4 a.m. doing these. I've got Boeing, Apple, Tesla, Netflix, AMC, XLV, Nvidia, GME, XRP, Shipcoin, Bitcoin. That's what I got for September thus far. If there's something that you want to see come out in September, you want to see me do a 1 month overview for September on any stock or commodity or crypto, put it in the comments, let me know, and I'll take a look. So, you know, the Chariot card is a bullish card. So for the 10th, we have the Chariot card. It looks like it actually appears here right at the end of the day. It's correlations to the dailies right at the end of the day today, and then again at the end of the day tomorrow. But it's a bullish, it's like a sideways, there's sideways fluctuations, but with a bullish trend, specifically that precedes a decline. So it's important to notate that precedes a decline, and it looks like what we do is we establish support, or we attempt to establish support, and we move sideways along support from that fluctuation. And then there's a drop in there because we've got that low correlator. Futility card. It's a Magus card at the high too, which makes me think that there's a good possibility we could have a high for the month on the 24th or the 25th, not just a prominent crest, but a higher for the month, based on that fact there that we have moving into the high, we have a notable move to the upside. It would stand out on a 1 month chart, like significantly stand out on a 1 month chart, and that would bring us in here. You can see it again. We also have it here. The Aeon card pushes the upper end of a range. And there you have it, folks. That's that move to the upside, right? The Aeon card here. We pushed, this was a range, we pushed the upper end of that range. And then we have a revisiting of past problems and a flight to safety with a failed attempt to break through key resistance and a decline through key support. So we failed to break through key resistance here. Turn around and try to break through key resistance. We didn't break through it. Instead, we turned around and we broke through key support, that 200-day moving average, and now falling. So we should see bearish behavior into the close here. Guys, if you haven't done so, go check out. Oh, hey, Andrea, hello. Do you? I mean, I could do a free reading for you, sure. What's your question? Is it Andrea or is it Summer? In any case, ask your question whenever you feel. Any questions, any stocks people want to look at, anything that you guys want to see me do a reading on, let me know. If you haven't done so, check out our, we're doing 11 trades to $1 million. I started over because I got so kind of like bent out of shape over that retrograde. I had to move all my stuff. It was just like a big mess, that retrograde. So here I am restarting. Trade number 1, is for the 19th to the 25th, buying calls on SPY. Check out the post. You'd like me to look at Microsoft for this month? I might have done a reading for it, actually. I do so many readings, I never remember what I've done. It's a 10-year. We got a 10-year Microsoft. Yeah, I could take care of that. I'll take care of that tonight. I'm not fond of doing readings after the fact, since it's already August. But since you requested, yeah, I'll do that for you. I just read it down in my book. Where's my book? Oh. Do a one card real quick for you and see what's up with Microsoft for the month. I'm glad you liked it, Lisa. Appreciate the comment. So for Microsoft, I got some erratic behavior back and forth through the same price level, and that's after a breakdown through a support level to meet another support level, and then we rotate sideways along support. So that's what I got, looking at like just a 1 card or 2 card reading for it. I could do an in-depth one if you want. I'll do the 1 month for Microsoft for August tonight and release that. I appreciate the support, V. So I think we're probably gonna launch. We're still pre-launch on SO Meta. So we're pitching it for astrology, but when we have version 2, it's going to be way more than astrology. There's going to be pattern recognition. That's proprietary. Nobody else has this pattern. Only I do. I mean, and it's proven to work because we're looking at it right now. It's pattern recognition, so that'll be a part of it. And some other proprietary indicators that are cutting edge have to do with metaphysics and collective consciousness, measuring collective consciousness. All that stuff's going to be part of it. But to start out, we're strictly astrology and technical analysis. And so we'll probably launch today. We'll either launch today or we're going to launch tomorrow because I want to take advantage of that full moon and the Lionsgate portal. I don't know if you guys know about the Lionsgate portal that's going on right now, but it's like a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to manifest things for your life. So take some time. Take some time today. It's not just today. I think it goes to the 18th. You can Google that and see when it goes to. But we're in the middle of it now, and it's a like a major opportunity to manifest things that you've always wanted to manifest. Put those thoughts into existence now. Like the key to your future is about the thoughts that you have in your mind now. It's like you can lie to yourself, but the thoughts underneath those thoughts, right? You can't convince yourself something you don't believe. You have to train yourself to believe certain things, right? But as far as the future is concerned, like for most people, the time gap between the thought and when it manifests in the future is so far out. It's like their memory span has like it's outshadowed their memories. You know, they have no recollection of it. There's no way to like see the pattern forming, whereas I see things very, very far out, and that's not something that that's something that I learned a long time ago. Your thoughts manifest. All of your thoughts manifest. It's a matter of if if there's a thought you don't like, you take proper steps as far as thoughts are concerned to counteract that thought. Otherwise, all thoughts manifest. That's what everything is. It starts with a thought form in the formless substance. I'm going to do a trade for Amazon as well. That's not part of the 11 trades to $1 million because Amazon's just too far out of most people's price range. Oh, actually, they split. Didn't they split? I'm going to check it out. I haven't looked at Amazon in a while. I've done the reading, but I haven't looked at an Amazon chart. I've done so many readings, like somebody else follows my readings, like somebody that I pay follows my readings about a month behind and checks for the accuracy and verifies that everything's accurate. And we send out a review of what we did for the month as far as accuracy every month, so we keep ourselves accountable. But somebody actually does that for me. I don't bother to go back because I've been doing it for so long. I've been accurate for so long. Like, yeah, I might have a mistake here or there, but for the most part, like, it's almost better for me not to go back and look at it again, because what you're doing is you're muddling thoughts, if that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense to you guys, but if you think about something more than once, there's the potential to muddle the thought, to muddle the manifestation, because if the thoughts are different the second time, rather than adding to, they're like contradictory or something like that. You can add to it something, but again, when you revisit a thought and you're thinking about it again, there's an opportunity to think about it differently, and that will affect the manifestation. When you get really good, you don't want to look back at things that you've predicted or things that you've intended to manifest into the world. You just want to keep manifesting. It's the law of allowing, or the phase of allowing, I believe it's called, in the law of attraction, or by the Hicks, the two, Esther and Jerry Hicks. Yeah, so I've got, I don't know if I mentioned already, but I've got all of the markups done for September S&P. It's all done. So I'm going to record that. There's a good window of moon energy, or I should say lunar energy, on Friday and Saturday for me to do readings. So I'm going to pump out a bunch of readings over those 2 days. I'll probably get all of the S&P for September and October completed. I'm already a third of the way through October. And then what will happen is I'll release September on YouTube, and then October will go on our website. And if you want to see the stuff that's 2 months out or further, it'll be for pay. Eventually you'll see it. It'll be free. Eventually it gets released. But if you basically what you'll be doing is paying for the extra time to see it ahead of everybody else. And that way everybody who couldn't afford it still has access, which is really important to me. But at the same time, I'm also able to make some money myself, because guys, this takes all of my time. Like, I'm like a lone wolf. I have people that I work with, but that's it, guys. I'm here to prove something. I take it very seriously. I want to prove that you can use tarot to predict something as significant and measurable as the stock market. And I'm proving it day and day and day and day. That's not what I want to do. That's what I do every day. What I want to do is get people to notice. You know, the irony that is, I predict the S&P 500, or I predict stocks like I eat toast in the morning. You know, it's like, it's better when I don't think about it too much. I just do it and I don't think about it, right? But getting somebody to actually see that I've done that's like man, I mean, you could probably go to school to figure that out. People are so slow, and I say it all the time. I say, you know, when I was in school, I was taking a Western civilization class. I believe it was Adam Marx, I believe, was who we were reading in the Clash of Civilizations, and they were talking about how the limitation to human evolution is the speed at which information travels, and the faster that information would travel, the faster the human is able to evolve based on knowledge, which made a lot of sense. But that's no longer the case because we live in an information age where information is instantaneous. So what limits the individual's evolution, mankind's evolution, the individual's evolution? They're very one and the same, if you ask me, because I am you and you are me. But it's not the speed of which information is dispersed. It's the speed of which information is believed. That's the limitation. The faster that you can come to believe that which you thought impossible, the faster you can evolve as an entity. And believe me, there are fifth dimensional individuals in this world. It's infinity. I mean, technically you could say that I am one, because here I am utilizing the fifth dimension to predict / direct myself to / create the future. You know, all three of those are true. Thanks, Lisa. The Amazon trade. I'll open that up real quick. That's the wrong thing. Yeah, so there's a good trade. It looks like to get in on the long side on the 15th. You could position yourself with options, so you're playing both sides of the markets on the 19th, probably to kind of like hedge your fear, hedge your risk tolerance there. And we have a high on the 24th, 25th. See, that goes right in line with the S&P 500 having a high on the 24th and 25th. That's another type of congruency. I haven't really given it a name yet. I guess you could say it's called cross-reading congruencies, or cross-stock congruencies. I guess cross-stock congruencies. I'll come up with a better term, but basically, the August reading for S&P shows a high on the 24th and the 25th. Amazon also shows a high on the 24th or the 25th. We see a low here on the 11th, 12th, 15th-ish on the Amazon. We see a similar thing take place on the S&P 500 1 month. You see what I'm talking about? Those are cross I don't know what you would call it. I don't want. If you say cross investment vehicle correlations, it's a little much, but that's really what it is. So I guess you could say cross reading, but it's similar because it's like the overlapping time frames. We're looking for congruencies that help to accentuate the important information in the readings. This is a similar thing. It allows for confirmation. That's like extra evidence or extra ammo to build conviction off of. So yeah, I'd likely position myself. I'll buy long on the 15th. Buy to open long calls. Position myself probably with some puts around here on the 19th because there's likely going to be some like volatility here. Sell the calls on the 24th, 25th. Sell the puts probably on the 29th or the 30th. All right, guys, I'm going to get to these readings. I gotta pump out that Microsoft reading. Any last questions before I go, guys? We're answering any questions. Doesn't need to be financial related. It can be anything, but finance is my specialty. You should check out our Kickstarter, astromeadow.com. Go check it out. There's a link to our Kickstarter there. And check out our YouTube channel. If you're just joining us on TikTok, check out our YouTube channel. We're looking at live charts right now. S&P 500, Amazon. We're looking at live charts side by side with the tarot readings that we did for those investment vehicles. Gauging our accuracy. We've been pretty much on point thus far. I knew August would be much better. I was in a real personal funk in July. Do we think we'll see the year's low? Are you talking about for Amazon, or are you talking about for Microsoft B? I don't think I have a 1 year for Amazon. Let me check. Nah, I don't have a 1 year for Amazon, so hard for me to tell you that. But if I went off of the S&P 500, I know it's on NASDAQ, but if I went off of an index similar to the NASDAQ, this is what I got. So we've got the death card here for the low, right? And we also have a low correlator here in September. My sense is end of the month low. Will it be the year's low? It'll either be the year's low or it'll be close to the year's low. If it's close to the year's low, then July was the year's low, or the end of June, July, wherever that was likely the year's low. So if we don't see a new low here for the year, this month, or at the end of the month, or at the latest early in September, to take a closer look at that September reading. If we've got a bullish behavior at the end of the year, especially towards the end of October. Bullish behavior in September as well, but it's going to come close. It'll be like a retest of a bottom that gives confirmation, and that confirmation allows us to move higher. That's my sense of what's going to happen here. All right, you too, Lisa. Thank you for watching. Thanks for the questions. I think we're likely going to see. There's a good shot we see a lower low. There's a very good shot we see a lower low, and that's based on the fact that we have the death card here. The death card is a prominent low. Usually it's the bottom. Usually, but I say usually because on a reading like this broad, they have the cards also have broader meanings. It's broader time frame. They can represent a lot broader things, but it's an important bottom. Nonetheless, whether or not it's the bottom for the year or an important bottom for the year, that remains to be seen. My sense is we likely will see a lower bottom. But what we're going to do is we're going to retest the bottom. There's also a fake out in September. One of the theme cards for the 1 month overview is the low in September is going to be a fake out. So it looks like we might test it two times. Like we test it once, and then in September we test it again. They could be the same low. It could be like combining the end of October and the beginning of September. Or excuse me, the end of September and the beginning of October. It could be combining those two lows, but the fact remains is that there's a trade opportunity at the low here, significant trade opportunity at the low. That takes place roughly the end of September, early October. And there's a fake out there. No barking. No barking. And there's a fake out there. around that low. So I think that's the third of 3 fake outs for the year. And remember, the behavior for the low of the year is the pleasure card, which means we're going to see some erratic behavior back and forth through the same price level. It's not a super bearish card in that sense, but the card from the high is a super bearish card. So you could say that we fall pretty hard from the high, and I think that's pretty obviously right on the ball there. But the low isn't necessarily some big like decline into the low. The behavior around the low will be like back and forth erratic behavior. So to be concise, there's a good possibility that June was the year's low, but there's also a very good possibility that we see a lower low. We'll see the same low or a lower low, or very close to the same low or a lower low. We'll see this month. If it ends up being the end of the month, then likely that combines with the low that we see here for September. It's either 1 or 2 lows, and I'm pretty sure if you go to my 1-year overview reading for the S&P 500, that's what I said in there, that it could be the same low, it could be combined, a late low there, that merges with a low that we see for September, or it could be another low. So there's at least one test of the low here coming up, possibly 2, depends on where this first test of the low ends up. If it's at the end of the month, it's 1. If it happens before the end of the month, we may see it again in early September. And whether or not it goes lower, there's a possibility we go lower, because there's some real decline cards there, and we have that significant bottom. So there's a possibility we go low there. And the other thing that really makes me think that there's a possibility of that is it lines up really well with the Mercury retrograde. Like the influence of Mercury retrograde starts here on the 820. Where is it? On 820 right here. This brown box is Mercury retrograde. So this is the pre-shadow phase, starts on 820, right? And generally speaking, you see a lot of volatility going into a pre-shadow. So August 19, yeah, I'm gonna look at October tonight or tomorrow, and then I'll be able to really tell you more concisely if it's going to be 1 or 2. Yeah, you got it, man. Thanks for supporting. Thanks for being here and giving me somebody to answer questions for. It's pretty cool. All right, guys. Unless there's any other questions, I'm going to call it and get to some readings. Got a lot of stuff I'm trying to get out of the way before retrograde. That's something that you guys should be doing too. Like, if there's things that you foresee yourself needing to start that are important, or needing to sign important documents, buy something expensive, things like that, or move, sign a lease, sign some sort of contract, all those type of things. If you foresee yourself needing to do that between August 20th and October 16th, it is highly advised that you do it before August 20th. Like, try and get it done ahead of time. Important doctor's appointment, try and get it done ahead of time, or after the fact if possible. Sometimes you can't wait. But that's how you prepare for retrograde. Your life will be much sooner, because then you have things already planned out as how you expect them to go. And as long as you don't deviate from that plan once retrograde happens, you just stay with it, even though it may seem like you want to deviate. It's a retrograde making you do the opposite of what you should. So you just finish up things that you already started during the retrograde phase from 9-10 to 10-9. And then we come out of that with an eclipse, so there should be some pretty interesting energies there. The eclipse, solar eclipses, they have a strong correspondence with market crashes. Doesn't mean every time you see a solar eclipse there's a market crash, but plus or minus 5 days of a solar eclipse, I think it is, or maybe it's plus or minus 7 days of a solar eclipse. Generally speaking, when there's a crash, it happens around that. It's so silly. It's like these TikTok people are like, hey, can I ask you a question? By the time I see them say, hey, can I ask you a question, they've already gone. Like, it's like, dude, why don't you just ask the question and wait? Like, what are you gonna do? That's TikTok. All right, guys. Remember, when you make money from these readings, you want to pay some of that forward to keep the flow going. Pay some of that back to us. Oh, just a little bit. Show some gratitude. And right now, you can do that at Cash App. Might have to make that sign bigger. But you can do that at Cash App, or you can, you can go support the SOMeta.com Kickstarter, which we're going to launch tonight or tomorrow. That depends on what the cards tell me. You can also buy the digital book. There's all sorts of, you can order private readings. There's all sorts of stuff. So you don't need to just pay it back. But, that's the best way to run your karma, guys. Send some of it forward. You're paying it forward to the universe. It's kind of like you're giving faith. There's faith. Like, you'll have more. Like, if you're like, oh man, I can't give that away, you're in the wrong mentality, if that makes sense. You're in money mind. You're in scarcity mind, right? So you give some of that forward, right? Who cares if that person gave you anything? Give some of that forward. It keeps the flow going, right? But you also want to make sure that you're grateful for the things that you have. Send some of that back to Kapproveb at the Cash App Kapproveb, right? When you're grateful, you get more to be grateful of. Gratitude begets gratitude. And then the rest of it, do what you got to do. Do what you got to do. Just make sure it's out of love. And if it's not out of love, you're justifying yourself. Find a way to do it out of love. That's all that matters. You do it that way, and the universe will shine down on you from all directions, tenfold. All right, guys. I'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching.